everyone. How you doing? Hope you're all okay. So my next guest is somebody a little bit different. So I know that a lot of the time I've had people on here that have been within the musical theatre industry, so directors and singers and choreographers, performers, and I've absolutely loved interviewing them all. But today I've got somebody who is not within the industry, but is kind of, because she's very creative. This is Welsh entrepreneur and fellow creative. She makes the most incredible products. Please welcome my next guest, Mima Rodwell.
My first question for you is, tell us a little bit about your business so that people, when they watch it, know what we're talking about.
So I paint leather jackets or denim jackets, basically just wearable art. Mostly it's for weddings, so quite often I get brides or I get bridesmaids and kids, like little flower girls, but often as well it's for just people to just wear all the time, so birthdays, so they can really vary in design, but yeah, it's a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, I can see. Is that some of your art behind you?
Yes, so I've just strategically placed it there, but so I've just moved into a new flat, so I'm waiting for a rail to arrive because obviously everything's taking a lot longer to arrive, so I'm going to have a rail with all of them hanging up, so they're just on the back of the door for now. But yeah, so they're one of them, the one, I don't know if you can really see it, the one with the C on it was just one that I did at the start of lockdown, when everything was a bit up in the air, so I didn't really know. Because, well, I guess as my main sort of interest is from weddings, obviously weddings were all on pause, so I just kind of needed something to do as a bit of a distraction. So I had a holiday that was cancelled, so I just thought I'm going to paint where I want to be. So I just ended up painting a Santorini jacket, and then the one next to it is for a photo shoot that was a wedding shoot. So yeah, I just like to have them there and have a little look at them now and again.
That one, do you know what? Has anybody told you it looks like Mamma Mia?
No, they haven't, but that was the vibe I was going for.
Literally, I remember, so I follow your Instagram page and I remember seeing it on there and I was like, oh my God, does that not look, so I'm actually quite lucky, I'm with my family at the moment, and I showed them all, I was like, what does this remind you of? Like, quick fire question, and they all went, Mamma Mia.
Yeah, I love it. I've never been to Santorini or Greece or anywhere like that, but I really want to go. We did go to Amalfi last year, so that kind of inspired the bougainvillea. And I've never really done like a landscape sort of jacket before. It's kind of been writing and flowers, or different sort of imagery, but never a full landscape. So it was just so nice to do.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And how do you do it? Do you have like an image in your head before you do it, or do you copy something like a picture?
Yeah, so I always do mock-up designs on the computer. So my background is I used to be a graphic designer for fashion companies. So I used to design sort of front prints and T-shirts and slogans, as well as doing all over prints. But so I'm really used to designing things on the computer in Photoshop, and then sort of laying them out on clothes and seeing how they would look. So for me, it's kind of a natural progression to do that. So I always do a few different options of designs for people, so I can show them, you could have this or you could have this, and then I can make the changes. So it's a really sort of interactive process where we kind of just find the perfect design basically from trial and error. So yeah, for that one I just kind of used like a photo of Santorini and then laid on flowers and added different bits and just changed it until I was kind of happy with it on the screen, and then from there I paint it with that kind of in front of me.
Wow. And how long does it take you to paint?
Generally it takes probably between like 12 to 20 hours, depends whether I'm in the zone or not.
Yeah.
At the moment it's obviously much harder to kind of focus and, you know, keep going, but yeah, generally it's probably about 15 hours.
Wow. And do you split that up, or do you just go hell for leather and just hard at it?
I do like to just do it. So I'll wake up really, really early. So I'll sort of start at about 6 or 7 in the morning, and then I'll just go until I can't look at it anymore. So it'll probably be about 6 at night. But I find that if I stop, I can't really get back into it. So it's best to just keep going as much as I can. And then if there's little details I need to add on, then that's fine. But the main bulk I like to do in one go.
Yeah. And what medium do you use? Like what kind of paints do you use?
So I use Specialist leather paints. So they're a brand called Angelus, and they're really, really good. They are made for leather, so they don't come off, they don't crack or anything. And they come in so many nice colours, but you can obviously mix them. And I just really love working with them.
Yeah, wear them. You were saying like lots of people have them for weddings and special occasions. Like I would genuinely just go out every day wearing a different jacket with like a cool. I've got so many like ones with like embroidery on them and things like that.
Yeah,
I love them. I would wear them all day, every day.
I mean, I don't have one that I wear very often, but that's mainly because I just wouldn't be able to choose what to have on it.
Yeah.
I'm constantly like, oh, I want one with this on it, I want one with that on it. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to pin it down. So when customers sort of say to me like, oh, I'm not sure which one to do, I'm sorry that I'm taking so long to choose, and I'm like, no, absolutely fine, because I wouldn't be able to do it. So fair play for getting this far.
Definitely. I wouldn't actually, thinking about it, because I said to my mum, I was like, I'd love one, but then what would you put on it? Because there's so many things.
Yeah, there's so many options, aren't there? And I guess for weddings it's kind of a bit simpler because you've generally got a theme and you know your colours but I mean, if you're getting one for yourself to wear all the time, I don't know where you'd start.
I had like a really weird request. Has anyone said, I really want this, and you thought, oh my god, okay, it's needed a lot longer to think about?
I get quite a lot of requests for how to include people's pets. So there'll be sort of like some roses and a little pug hiding in the roses. Or I had one that it was a husband and wife, and they called each other Pig and Bear. So they just had two little like line drawings of a pig and a bear on each sleeve, on the cuff of the sleeve. So that was really sweet. But at the start, you're kind of like, when you get told the information of what they want to include, and you're like, how am I going to do it? I don't know what to do there. But then, when it all comes together, it's really nice and it works well. I'm trying to think if there's any other interesting ones. I've got one to do at the moment, which has got a Welsh harp on it. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that one. So it'll be quite different. But yeah, it varies so much, and it's just so interesting. And probably the ones that are more different are more exciting because they're more of a challenge to make them work and make them look like my handwriting.
Yeah, I bet. Have you had like a favourite one that you've loved?
I get new favourite ones every time I paint them. I'm like, oh, I love this one, but then I just love them all. I think I really love painting different coloured jackets. So it's a bit of a I get a lot of white and black jackets, but when I get a coloured one, it's kind of a treat. So I really love the blue ones, and I've had a couple of yellow ones. They're lovely as well, and they just kind of, the colours just look different and they pop, and it's just a different vibe. But I don't know. After I finish every one, I just think, oh, that one's my favourite now.
Yeah. I bet it's really nice to see when people send you pictures and stuff of how they look and how they, thanking you for them. I bet that's really nice.
Yeah, that's the best bit of it, really, is like hearing the feedback and seeing the pictures. The feedback I get is so lovely, and I can't really believe sometimes it's one of the first things that they booked out of the whole wedding as soon as they get engaged, like over the venue.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and I'm just like, it's a jacket, what do you mean? I know, but it's just so lovely, and so that makes me feel really proud and really happy, and just that I've like been a part of someone's special day and made it more special for them.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it's such a long process for you. Like you were saying, you've got to pick the design and make sure they're happy with it, and then getting it going. And it takes such a long time, so many hours. It's always really nice to know that all that hard work has paid off.
Yeah, definitely. It is. It's really rewarding.
Yeah, I bet. And what would you say so far has been your proudest moment? Your very first order, or what has been the best thing?
Probably my proudest moment would be when I was getting the train to London. So I was in the train station, and I just had some extra time, which never happens at the train station. I'm normally like sweating and running around, and so I was like, I'll just nip into WH Smith. And I went in, I was just flicking through some magazines, and one of my jackets had like a full page spread in a wedding magazine in WH Smith. And I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah. Because I knew that they'd been in touch with me to say, oh, we want to like get some details and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know that it was going to be a full page. I didn't know when it was going to be in there, and I didn't really know that it was going to be in WH Smith, to be honest. So I was just like, what?
I bet you want everyone on the train station, this is my stuff, this is my work.
I was so excited. I was on the train like
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Because you work so hard for it, and it takes such a long time to get a business. Once you've got an idea, everyone thinks, oh, well, there we are then. You've got an idea, you can run with it. But it's not just about that, is it?
No, not at all.
Getting your work out there is one of the hardest things, because it's great when word of mouth happens and somebody says to you, oh, I love that jacket that you did for so and so, I love that print that you did for somebody, I'll have one. And you think, oh great, the ball's rolling, but it sometimes dies there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you're like,
it's really strange.
Right, I've got to try and promoting yourself is a really hard thing, because you're
so hard. I'm mortified. I hate doing it. I hate even putting up Instagram posts and being like, look what I've done. But I know that I have to, and I don't know how else I would do it, because that's literally how it's got popular, and it's just organically grown through Instagram. But yeah, every time I cringe a little bit, and I just don't want to do it. But then obviously I get such nice feedback from people, and people sort of, I think because it has grown through Instagram, people kind of supporting me and like backing me a little bit. So I kind of have a nice little like community on there, I guess.
And what's your next, so like if you could excuse the pun, paint the next 5 years of your career, what would it look like for you? How would you want it to go in a perfect world?
I really would like to expand and do kind of branch out a little bit more, do different sort of things. I'm not really sure where that is. I think that this time has given me a bit, like in lockdown, it's kind of given me a bit of time to sort of develop and think of ideas and ways I want to expand, which actually I'm really grateful for, because I was so busy. I was just constantly getting an order, doing another one, getting them done. So this has kind of made everything slow down. So I'd like to expand and do different options. I'd like to look into more illustration side of things, and obviously I've got graphics knowledge, so maybe look into other ways that I can use that and make something different. I don't know. So I really obviously love doing the jackets, but as it's a trend, I don't know how long it'll be around for. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't 5 years ago, I didn't know that I'd be doing this. I didn't know that this would ever be an option. So I have no idea what will happen in 5 years' time to come. So just
I guess open to whatever way.
Yeah, definitely. And just be able to adapt to how it changes and, what happens, and just open to change, I guess.
I think the thing is, what you've always got on your side is the creativity is something that will never die. Like you say, it is a trend now, so maybe in 5 years it might not be such a trend, but you will always have that creativity, so you can move with the times.
Yeah, exactly. And just keeping it fresh and keeping people interested, I think, is the main thing, because obviously everything moves so quickly, so you just need to sort of keep on top of it and keep sort of ahead of the trends.
And so you were saying that like 5 years ago that you didn't realise you'd be doing this now. When you were growing up, what was it that you always wanted to do? Did you ever have like a goal in mind?
No, I never really had a goal in mind. I just knew that I was always going to be in fashion or art somehow. I didn't really know what sort of avenue that would be, but it was always going to be fashion, or a farmer. I wanted to be a farmer for a long time.
Brilliant. I'm guessing you like it then.
No, not really. I know, it was so strange, but I think what I actually really enjoyed about being a farmer was I used to draw out where all the fields would be and what animals would be in each field. So really it was more of like a drawing farmer. I just used to like to draw the farm. So
that is absolutely brilliant. That's hilarious. You like to plan the farm rather than actually have one?
I think so, yeah. I mean, growing up in Wales, I was surrounded by fields and sheep and animals, so
I feel you.
It was always in the back of my mind. But yeah, I think mainly it was just putting the plans onto paper, really, that I enjoyed there.
That is excellent. I always ask people like a few quirky questions. If you could have any magical powers, what would they be?
Well, at the moment, I would really like to be able to fly so that I could just go wherever, just get out and about. And also at the moment, I'd really like some willpower so that I would stop snacking. I just can't stop. It's out of control.
Do you know what? It's boredom. It is boredom. Yeah. It is. You know, when people say that, don't they? You know, oh, it's terrible, like when you know, the willpower when you're snacking, but like you just can't, because there's nothing else to think about.
No, exactly. And really, it shouldn't be an issue for me because I'm used to working from home. That's what I was doing before. So it's not a massive change for me. But I'm just using it as an excuse to be like, well, 3 o'clock, biscuit time again.
Yeah.
Every
hour.
Yeah, every hour.
I love it.
Just living meals. So yeah, a bit of willpower would be nice.
Willpower, I like it. Willpower and flying. I mean, yeah. It'd be lovely to be able to go places, but obviously nowhere's open at the moment. Everywhere's the same boat.
Yeah.
And what do you miss most? So like we're saying about lockdown now. What do you miss most? Are there certain things that you're missing?
I just kind of miss being out and about and just having a wander. Like it's a really like nice part of my day to just go out for a walk and get some air. Obviously I'm missing my family and I would love to see them, but because they live in Wales and I live in Manchester, I don't get to see them as often as I like anyway, so that's not changed too much. But yeah, just being able to just go out for a long walk whenever I like, really.
Yeah, the beach.
The beach would be so nice.
No, it's little things, isn't it? I think, you know, like going to the shops and if you see someone just having a chat. I think that is bizarre, isn't it? You know, it's a time where you wouldn't have even thought 4 months ago that would be an issue.
I know, it's such a strange time, but I think as well, like it has kind of made us think about other people and how sort of, especially like the elderly and how they're getting on. So it's quite nice whenever I see like an older person just having a walk, then I'll say hello to them from across the road and just be like, how are you getting on? Is everything okay? And so that's really nice, like kind of gives you a bit of a boost.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like we said, it's the little things that you miss, but it's also the little things that make a day, and for some that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And they do make your day, especially like you've got it's just a roller coaster of emotions every day. Like you'll have a really you'll wake up really positive and then something will just get you down, and it's nothing in a normal day, it won't make any difference to you, but then in this situation it can really affect you.
Yeah, I think everything's heightened, isn't it? Your emotions and your worries and fears, but also like happiness, a little thing that usually you'd be like, oh yeah, cool, you're like, you're so excited about, and people are like, shit.
I know, I got some flowers the other day and I'm living for them. They're so good. I'm just like, oh, how great are they? I love the flowers. My boyfriend is as well. they're just some flowers. No, they're not.
My last question is always the same for everybody. So what is next for you after lockdown? What will you be doing? I'm guessing you're going to hopefully, continue with your business.
Yeah, I think that is the next thing for me, is just kind of get back in touch with people. Obviously, there's a lot of postponed weddings, so I think when lockdown stops, then people kind of have a bit more clarity of what can go ahead and at what level and stuff. So there's a lot of people that are on hold at the moment in terms of their weddings. So it'll be to kind of get like touch base with them and see how they're all doing and what the latest will be for them. And then, yeah, hopefully it'll sort of pick up a bit again and get busier when people know more, really. So I'm hoping that it'll all be exciting times after this.
Yeah, back to that normality, and you'll get back into the swing of things, and
yeah, and hopefully, I mean, like, I'm using this time for developing and research and bringing new things, so then when it all starts up again, I can sort of promote that and put that out in the world and see how that goes.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, well, I wish you all the best. Honestly, I love your stuff. It is fantastic, and when this goes out on the channel, I will make sure that I put your link.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, it is amazing stuff, and I will be in touch definitely with what I want, because I want to bombard. What do you think about that?
Well, whatever ideas you have, just send them over, like just bombard me, because I can do a load of different mock-ups for you, so you can kind of compare them all and see.
I just love, like, I have so many ideas. Well, thanks so much, my lovely, and I will send you this when it goes up on the channel.
Fab. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see it.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Thank you so much for that interview. Lots more exciting guests to come. I promise you, you will not want to miss my next guest. Here's a sneaky peek. Take care. Bye.